All right, what's going on, guys? Coming at you with another video. Sorry, my nose is a little plugged up today, but just wanted to bring you another bit of content. And basically today I am walking you through my journey of buying the BMW GS. You all knew it was coming. So I just wanted to bring a couple of key points if you are looking at buying a GS, what you can expect to look for, what you should look for. The first thing I want to talk about is year models of the bike, a couple different year models I was considering. This is why I chose to go with a dealer as opposed to buying private. I also wanted to talk about what does financing look like from BMW. What does their BMW financing look like if you're not looking to buy the bike outright? And the last thing, and I think one of the most fun things, is talking about the accessories, the first things that I bought to go ahead and put on the bike. The bike is coming in a couple of weeks, but I'm going ahead and buying a bunch of accessories. So just walking you through the most important accessories and the first things that you should be buying. So stay tuned and let's get after it.
Okay, so just taking you through the journey of the things that I did when I was preparing for the GS. I went and rode several different models. Of course, I'm always looking for the best deals. So of course I was looking at the 1200 lines. I went and rode a 2017. It was the early year, so it wasn't the 17.5. In 17.5, which is the latter half of 2017, they actually came out with a revised engine. I think they changed a few things about the engine. The dynamic ESA changed a little bit, and as well, they changed something in the gearbox, and so it was much smoother. I don't know if you guys have ever ridden a 2017 GS. Man, I don't know if earlier models have a problem with that. I know a lot of people on forums have been talking about it, but man, I didn't enjoy it whatsoever. Like, I was about to buy one and I was like, man, this thing looks great. My wife was on the back, we were riding it, and I was like, this thing looks great. Took that thing for a ride. It shifts so hard. I was like, what is this thing, man? Like, this is just shifting so incredibly hard. It was like kerthunk every time I was shifting, and I was like, this is not even enjoyable. This is not the GS I know. I'm out. Took it back to the dealer. I was like, dude, no way. Rode a 2018, which was so much better. It was like a completely different world. Just that shift between 2017 and 2018. I understand that the 2017.5 is pretty much more like the 2018. And that was kind of the shift they made there. And then of course you have that big shift from 2018 to 2019 where they came out with the 1250s. You're getting more horsepower. You're getting the shift cam technology, which allows you they have the two cams that are shifting back and forth. So you have that really great fuel economy. And then when you need that power, it shifts cams actually and gives you all that power that you want. And plus it's a lot smoother. You've got a lot of different features. So yeah, I just finally said, look, it's only like an extra $1,000. I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna go for the 1250. So that was kind of my process of riding 3 different models of bikes. Of course, I'd done several trips on 1250s. Just at the end, I was like, okay, I'm settling on a 1250. This is where I'm going. 17 and before shifted too hard. 2018 was great, but for an extra $1,000, I could go for the 1250 and just be happy with the newest technology. So that was my thinking there. So I've actually finalized the process on buying my GS, but they have basically, when I looked at it, the one thing I didn't like about this bike, of course, I'm a fan of spoked wheels. It didn't have spoked wheels and it was blue. So really those were the only two things. Other than that, it was great. It had super low kilometers. It had 11,000 kilometers on it, which is like, I think 6,000 or 7,000 miles on it, which is nothing. It's basically a new bike. The guy before was a pilot and he rode it very little. He traded it in for a GSA. So the bike is pristine. Came with a top case. A lot of bikes don't come with anything. So yeah, I was like, this is great, but it's blue and I don't like that. And I would really love spoked wheels. Well, the dealer said, hey, for no additional charge, we will paint it black if you want. We'll switch out the fairings. It's very small pieces. So it's just the beak and the part over the tank. He said, we'll paint it and make it just like triple black. And I was like, perfect. I love that. That's great. Looks great. Okay, I can do without the spoked wheels for now because it was a great deal on the bike, low mileage. And normally for a 1250, you're looking at around 19,500 euros here in Europe, just for something that's got around 30,000 kilometers on it. And this one was 18,000 euros. It was still a 2019 and it had 11,000 kilometers on it. So way less wear and tear on this bike, and it was cheaper. So I was like, I think the only thing that was keeping anybody from this bike is the fact that it was blue, and they're gonna change that for me. So I was like, okay, let's do it, let's go. I'd actually been looking at this bike for like 3 weeks and I just kept looking at it online, and I was like, it has full specs, it has all the riding modes, it has, I thought it didn't have enduro because it had solid wheels. It still has all the enduro modes and everything, and so I was like, oh, I didn't know that. So then I was like, all right, let's go all in. Got everything sorted. And so now I'm just waiting for them to paint it, which takes 3 weeks, which is kind of a long time. But man, if it's my dream bike, which it is, I can wait 3 weeks. I can wait 3 weeks, no bike. That's totally cool. I can do it. So of course, like I said, the specs of the bike, you know, it's got the shift cam technology. I actually want to find out, maybe you guys can answer this for me, if they've got, there's a mode you can put in the blinkers now in the LED, and you can make them running lights. So you can actually make the blinkers stay on. Of course, they flash still when you need them, but they stay on like running lights. So it's just that extra little distinction that allows people to see when they're going down the road, okay, this is not a car, this is a motorcycle. So it's just one extra added safety feature, and I think it looks so sick. So really like that about the bike. Like I said, the price of the bike was 18,000 euros, which I think is a really good deal in the way the market is at the moment. BMW has absolutely great financing. So if you're looking at this bike, you want to do financing, they have really good deals. Basically what you can do is they take 30% of the bike and they put it at the end. So they keep your monthly payment super low. And what they do is 6 months before, if you're interested in the BMW financing, 6 months before your time comes to pay that balloon payment, right at the end, basically what you do is they call you 6 months before and they find out, hey, do you want to upgrade? Are you going to trade it in? Are you going to pay the 5,000? You know, whatever you want to do, they call you, they notify you the time's coming, and they kind of walk you through what that's going to look like. And normally, if you keep the bike in pretty good condition, BMW will give you the full value of that balloon payment to upgrade your bike, as well as the rest of the, you know, whatever you've got in the bike. So it's kind of like an equal trade across. You know, it depreciates a little bit, but these bikes really hold their value. That's what sucks about GSs, right? The GSs hold their value super well. So when you're trying to buy one, it's really expensive, but it's great when you're trying to sell it because it holds its value. Like I said, the mileage on the bike is 11,000 kilometers or 6 or 7,000 miles, which is pretty good. So I think it's really important to talk about what's the first thing you want to do when you get a motorcycle. This thing does have solid wheels, which I'm not a fan of, but for the price and the deal I was getting on the bike and the low miles, I was like, okay, I can deal, and I can add spoked wheels later. But something I really love, and I think we all love doing, is as soon as we get a new bike, we want to trick it out with lots of new toys. So basically, I've got a lot of new things that I am putting on this bike. The very first thing I'm putting on this bike, I think every bike owner should do it, and this is the first thing, is crash bars. Like, that should be your number one thing. I told one of my buddies who just bought a brand new Triumph Tiger 1200, I said, dude, put on crash bars. You will not regret it. I sent him a link to the bars for his bike, and he didn't do it. And guess what? Dropped it like a week later in his garage when he was moving it around, and just smashed up the plastics on the side of the bike. And basically the crash bars I sent him were around 270 bucks. It cost him 350 euros to fix the plastics on the side of his bike, and it just looks nasty until you get it fixed. So I'm just like, man, for the money you could have spent on the crash bars, you could have saved yourself all that extra headache, and it would look amazing, because I love the way these bikes look. They look so beefy and just mean with those crash guards on it. So I actually bought some crash guards that I'm not familiar with. I had Heed crash guards before, which were amazing on my Triumph. They're really cool. I think they're out of Poland, and they make solid equipment. Everybody loves the way they look. Everybody loves the way they install. Of course, something I look for on crash guards is the fact that if they have spacers, sometimes that can be an extra point of failure. You kind of don't want something with too big of spacers, or no spacers is the best. SW Motec makes great crash guards. Touratech makes great crash guards, but they're expensive, man. I think the Touratech crash guards for my bike are like $700. So I was looking for something a little bit more budget friendly, because I have a lot to do to the bike, as well as putting on side panniers, which is going to cost me around $800, maybe even more, just kind of depends. I'm looking at the GV side cases. Basically, so I went for a brand called Motea. They're out of Germany. My bike's from Germany. I feel like Germans put out good products, so I'm going to check them out. I ordered them. I got a good deal on them. They were, I think, altogether with shipping, it was 227 euros, which is around 240 bucks, which I think is pretty good. That was for lower and upper crash guards. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a review and an install guide on that when they come in. You know, let's see how they do. I'm not saying they're going to be the best, and of course you want your bike to be secure when it falls, but in my experience, A lot of these other brands kind of get pushed aside because TourTech, SW Motec have such good reputations. They do a really good job advertising, and so everybody just sees them as the pinnacle, so everybody buys that. But I think there's some other brands out there that are a lot cheaper that don't cost near as much, and there's literally nothing you can pit against them. Like, I was looking at all the specs online, and they use the same size steel and everything. They powder coat them just like TourTech does. You know, the steel bars are the same thickness and everything. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give them a try. 240 bucks. Let's throw them on the bike, see how they perform, and that'll give me something to talk to you guys about. And if you have the Motea crash guards on a GS or any other bike, you know, throw it in the comments. Let me know how you like them, because I would love to know your opinion. So another thing that's really important on the GS is basically having the front headlight covered. I know that a lot of, like, I've never had a problem with my headlights being cracked on a motorcycle, never, but the BMW headlight, especially the new one, which is the adaptive one that basically moves up and down, it moves side to side just a little bit, and that's like the cornering headlights, right? Looks super cool, but if you ever crack that puppy, you are looking at around $1,500 to replace that thing. So I'm like, yeah, I'm getting something, a guard to go over that. So I have ordered the SW Motec light cover. It's basically like a piece of glass or plexiglass, I don't know what it is, glass that goes over the front. So it's clear, looks cool, and you know, I'm not a fan of the metal guards because I feel like there's still ways that rocks could bounce through there. So I just went ahead and went for the full glass cover on the front of the bike. It's 80 euros, which is around 90 bucks, and it's gonna save me a lot of headache down the road. I feel like it's cheap insurance. Another thing I haven't ordered but will be on my list for the future is basically head covers. As you know, the BMW GS has the heads that stick out on the sides of the engine, and basically you really want to cover those if you're going to be doing a lot of off-road, which I really don't. The most off-road I do is light gravel roads or something like that. I would like to try it out a little bit, you know, test the GS a little, but you don't really need too much extra protection because you have those crash guards. But if the bike falls into sand and it sinks a little into the dirt or something and there's a rock under there and it goes past the crash guards and the crash guards sink, your heads are still exposed. So getting head covers to actually go behind and cover the heads is really, really important. Another reason that I went with BMW, I did this really intentionally. I looked online, I was looking at used bikes, I was looking at buying from individuals, but with a bike that's this expensive, if anything goes wrong, I want to know that I have that guarantee. They now have the 1.5 years guarantee on used bikes. I went ahead and went with the BMW dealership.
All right, guys, so that is it for today. Hope you really enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for more content. If you are not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. My analytics tell me that majority of you guys that visit the channel are not subscribed, so go ahead and subscribe since you're coming back anyways. Would love to get your feedback. Throw something in the comments. If you have bought recently a new or used GS or any other motorcycle, you know, throw something in the comments. Would love to start a conversation with you guys. If you have any tips for other people around, go ahead and throw it in the comments. And other than that, I've got some more content coming out over the next few weeks of kind of the buyer's journey of the GS. So stay tuned. This is part 1. And other than that, ride safe and we'll see you on the pavement.